Hey, this is Buzz signing in with episode 43 of AirWaves, and in this episode I've got a new radio. Can you see it? It's the Anytone AT-5555N. Get that in the picture, 10-meter radio. We're going to take a look at it next on AirWaves.
Buzz Stone's AirWaves.
Buzz back with you, episode 43 of AirWaves, and we're taking a look at my new rig. Just got it in the mail today. It's an Anytone AT-5555N. There's a look at the owner's manual, user manual. And if you decide to do a little research of your own on this radio, be sure that you put the N on the end there, like you see. Actually, I wouldn't even put the AT on there. I just put Anytone 5555N, because there's an earlier version of this radio that did not have the N, and it's a completely different radio. And as you can see on the manual here, this is sold as a 10-meter radio, and I didn't have a dedicated 10-meter radio. I have the Xiegu G90, which is a HF, which of course includes the 10-meter band. So I decided to go ahead and get this. I looked around quite a while and was kind of torn between this one and the Anytone 6666, which is a much smaller radio. I would say more of a mobile. This radio here is it's really, I was surprised how big it is. It's much bigger than I anticipated. And while it does come with a bracket and it is designed to be used as a mobile radio, I think it also works well as a base radio, base station. One thing, because of the size of it, it is very large. Let me pan over here a little bit, see if I can. You see the TYT TH9800 right next to it? Look how much bigger. I mean, that's a mobile radio. It's designed to be used mobile primarily. Look how much bigger this radio is. Pretty good sized radio and very deep. Has a large heat sink on the back. Sorry, I can't show that to you because I've got this thing wired up and ready to go. And but again, as I said, it's designed primarily as a 10-meter radio. And a little bit later on in the video here, I will be talking with someone. I'll be moving around the bands, so you'll get an idea what the actual coverage of this radio can be. But out of the box, it's a 10-meter radio. And as I said, I did quite a bit of research trying to determine which radio I needed to get for my ham shack. I had decided I wanted a dedicated 10-meter radio. Finally decided on this. I got a really good deal on it, I think, because I found this guy on eBay, and he said that he had bought two of these radios. One, his everyday driver, and he bought a backup radio in case that one were to go south. And I guess he had had this one for 6 months or so, and the other one was working fine, so he decided he probably didn't need this. So he decided to sell it. So basically, I mean, it's a new radio. Although it was sold as used because it was owned by a previous person. And he told me he modifies all of his radios. He described himself as somewhat of a prepper. And what he does is he puts a tritium vial on the power switch here, which is also the volume switch, so that when if it's dark, you can easily find the power switch on it. So that's pretty cool. It actually glows blue. It looks white here on camera, but when the lights are out, it looks blue. So kind of a neat added feature, and it's immaculate. It's definitely a new radio, no doubt about it. But to just kind of give you a quick rundown on it, you see, of course, it has the LCD display, and it is a large one. You can see there the width of my hand. And that's one of the things I liked about it. The large digits on there, very easy to read. And of course, with the orange. It's an orangish red display. I don't know how it shows up more orange, I think on camera maybe, but looking at it in person it's more of an orange red color, which is good when you've got the lights down low in your ham shack, which is the way I like to operate. Don't like to have glaring lights when I'm in here operating, so I like that about it. And again, as we'll see here later in the video when I talk with somebody on there, you'll see the frequency spread that's available on this radio. But to go over it quickly here, you've got like this is what they call an import-export radio, and so it has bands on it, and but you can use here. I've got a frequency display set, but if you want to, you can go to channel mode. And you'll see up here in the right hand corner, these are your bands. This right now is on band G, which happens to incorporate the 10-meter amateur band on there. But if you watch up there in the upper right hand corner, as I go through the bands, there's H, I, and then we're back to A, B, C, and D. And it goes on through. D is your standard citizens band in the U.S. So as I went through there, I think you got an idea of the frequencies that this radio is capable of receiving and transmitting on. And so you've got all of your control features here along the bottom. I'm not going to go through every button. So everything is right here, easy to reach. This right here is your volume. It's also your power. Okay, and then up here you've got a variable RF power on there. You can vary the transmit and receive power of the radio. And then over here, this is your frequency tuning knob, and you can, by pressing this in, trying to get where I'm not blocking your view, you move which decimal place you want to tune. So I generally keep it there. So you can go through that there. And then up here you have your clarifier and your squelch. Now the clarifier on this can be set up in your menu to either be off, or it can be receive only, or transmit only, or receive and transmit. Currently I have it set for receive only. I did talk with a buddy on 10 meters earlier today, and he said it sounded like I was right on frequency. So no need for any clarification there on transmit for sure. And he also told me that the audio was the best he had ever heard audio from me from any of my radios, and that includes the Xiegu G90, which he said sounded very good. But he said he thought the audio on this radio just really sounded good, which is a good thing. Also, I'm going to show you on the microphone, you do have your up and down channel buttons on the mic. Okay, and the tuning knob also, when you're in the menu feature, you push it in if you want to acknowledge something. So I'll go to menu here. Let's see. So now I'm in menu mode, and you can see you can go through your, and over here, that's another thing I like about it. It tells you down here, right now it's displaying the model of the radio, but like for instance, if I go up and down, it's saying FRQ for frequency. But whatever you're doing with the radio at the time, it will display it down here. And you have these the digital meters, which are your standing wave ratio, your receive S meter, and your transmit power. So you have 3 separate meters all built in here to the 1 meter. So that's pretty much a general overview of the radio. Of course, it has PA, public address output in the back, as well as a separate output for a speaker, external speaker. The speaker is on the bottom of the radio, and I've got it sitting in its mobile mount bracket so that I could get it at an angle to make it easier to see the screen, because it's sitting down kind of low here on the desktop. So in the next segment of this video, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get someone so you can get an idea of the audio quality of the radio. So hold on and we'll be right back.
Okay, we're using an Anytone 7300 and running probably 60 to 80 watts, something like that. That situation. Not any amplifier or anything like that, just the 7300 and using the SM8 desk mic. Over.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. And I neglected to tell the viewers earlier that this radio is connected to my Starduster M400 antenna. It's the closest thing I have for a 10-meter radio. Of course, my other main antenna being the 80-meter dipole antenna. So what kind of signal are you getting? Oh, by the way, I'll also let the viewers know that I'm operating here on upper sideband on the 10-meter band, in case you can't see it on camera. And the output is 30 watts peak to peak on sideband on this radio. So what kind of signal are you seeing on that end?
Yeah, seeing a nice signal. F7, 7S units, and a very good audio.
Okay, yep, same on this end. Sounds good. And I know you got lots of things to do there, so I appreciate the coming in and giving us a little demonstration of the audio properties here of the Anytone AT-5555N. Hope you have a good night, and we'll catch you later on, that's for sure.
Okay, good evening. We'll talk with you a little bit later then. Kilo Charlie 4, Kilo Mike Golf.
In closing, I want to read you the specifications for the radio. As it comes out of the box, the frequency range is 28.000 to 29.700 megahertz. By the way, that is programmable. I forgot to mention there's a you have to open up the radio to do this. There is a pin connection on the inside of the radio, and there is a programming cable which does not come with the radio. It's an accessory you can get where you can program the radio using a PC. That's something that I haven't done. I don't know that I will. As I pointed out earlier, the frequency bands are A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I. There's 40 channels on each one of those bands. The frequency control, of course, is phase lock loop synthesizer. The frequency steps are adjustable with 100 hertz, 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 100 kilohertz, or 1 megahertz steps. Frequency tolerance is 0.005%. Frequency stability is 0.001%. Let's see, the microphone's a push-to-talk up-down switch for the frequencies. Input voltage is 13.8 volts. The dimensions are in millimeters. 283 millimeters in length, 200 in width, and 60 in height. Weighs 1.75 kilograms. It has the standard UHF SO239 antenna connector on the back. The transmitter section, the power output on AM is 12 watts. This radio does have FM as well. It's 30 watts. And single sideband is 30 watts PEP. The drain with modulation is 8 amps. And of course it has AM, FM, upper sideband, and lower sideband. The SSB carrier suppression is 55 decibels. Unwanted sideband, 50 decibels. The frequency response on AM and FM is 300 to 3000 hertz. On single sideband, it's 450 to 2500 hertz. Of course, it has a 50 ohm unbalanced output on it. Here's output audio is 3 watts with an 8 ohm speaker. Again, that speaker is on the bottom of the radio, round 8 ohm speaker. And the external speaker is also, or the jack for that is 8 ohms. It disables the internal speaker when it is connected. So those are the specifications. I mean, there are more than that, but I think those are the ones that you'd be most interested in. So again, to wrap things up, this is an Anytone 5555N. That ends in important if you're looking for information on it on the internet. They've been around for a while, but this one's brand new to me, and so far I've really enjoyed it. I think it's a good, solid radio, good audio. Has plenty of power. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend it. The Anytone AT-5555N. This has been episode 43 of Airwaves. I'm Buzz Stone. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to like and share the video. And some people, this keeps happening every so often on YouTube. They say they're not getting notifications when a new video comes out. So if that's the case with you, make sure you go to my homepage, look for the bell icon, the upper right hand corner, click on it, make sure that notifications are turned on. For some reason they get turned off. I don't know why. But anyway, this is Buzz. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on down the dial.